Right, good morning. Thank you for joining us for usually the Monday briefing, but because of the Memorial Day weekend, it's been moved to Tuesday. So thanks for joining us. We hope everyone, made what they could make out of a fairly wet Memorial Day weekend. We ended up seeing about 1 to 2 inches of rain across the area. There were some higher amounts near the Triad. They saw as much as 2 to 3 inches. But we definitely, it was definitely breezy and windy Friday and Saturday, and just a wet and very cloudy day. This upcoming forecast period is going to be pretty quiet. Generally, we're going to remain under the effects of a moist high pressure. And what I mean by moist, we're going to have a northeasterly low level flow. And when we have a northeasterly low level flow, that means we've got some flow coming in off the Atlantic. And so what we're going to see, that low pressure system that brought us our rain over the past weekend, it's going to be just close enough by near the Delmarva region. And the combination with that moisture is going to basically allow at least isolated to very small chance of daily showers, mostly showers. We may have an isolated thunderstorm, but it should be mostly showers pretty much any day this week. Not expecting any kind of rain out or anything like that. I wouldn't change any outdoor plans, but you will need to kind of keep your eye on the radar, especially during the peak afternoon heating hours. But though, that northeasterly low level flow is going to keep temperatures below normal, which has been pretty nice. It seems like, as we are ending the month of May, it seems like May we've been spared from the heat that we typically see. And that looks like we're going to see a continuation of that, at least for the next week. I would probably say our best weather feature that could, or our strongest weather feature that could bring us a little bit more in the way of unsettled weather is a backdoor cold front that's supposed to move through on Saturday. Right now, there's some differences in the models with showing how much shower activity and thunderstorm activity we're going to have along that cold front, but that would be Saturday afternoon. So again, if you have outdoor plans on Saturday, that's something you're definitely going to need to monitor here the next few days. And once that front, as you see, pushes down to our south on Sunday, down well into like Georgia and Florida, that's just going to reinforce that northeasterly low level flow and continue to support cooler temperatures. So, it's pretty nice to have these below normal temperatures. As we look at the severe thunderstorm potential for the next several days, you can see basically our best chance for thunder is today, and we're not expecting any severe weather, and I'd be surprised if we have much more than isolated thunder for today. As we mentioned Saturday about a backdoor cold front, I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least some general thunder chances on Saturday as we get closer in time. But again, there are some models not showing a whole lot of activity with that backdoor cold front, so really quiet when it comes to our severe weather potential. In terms of accumulated precipitation, you can see as you look at the next 5 days, just some light greens showing up, and some days there's a void over central North Carolina. So really not expecting anything in terms of appreciable rainfall over the next 5 days. And so it's not surprising to see in terms of excessive rainfall, no threat there. Looking at the tropics, the tropics are quiet, not expecting at this time any activity over the next 7 days. And since we're talking about the tropics, how many people knew that NOAA actually released their prediction this past Thursday? That the official release was last Thursday, and they predicted a near normal 2023 Atlantic hurricane season, right? And so what does that mean? What's near normal? So near normal is basically 12 to 17 named storms. Of those 17 named storms, 12 to 17 named storms, 5 or 9 of them will get to hurricane strength, and a possibility that 1 to 4 of them will become major hurricanes. Now, what's driving that forecast? Basically, a couple of factors are driving the forecast. The first factor driving this forecast this year is El Nino. And El Nino, if you remember, is the temperature anomalies in the tropical Pacific. Well, yes, the how warm or how cold those sea waters are in the Pacific actually affects the Atlantic hurricane season. There's been a lot of studies that show that very strong correlation. And so what El Nino does in the Atlantic is it usually suppresses Atlantic hurricane activity. Okay, so that's one negative working against storms, but there's also some positive conditions for enhanced tropical development, and one of them is this: they're expecting above normal West African monsoon, and what that does, that produces an active, easterly waves coming off of Africa. And that will see and that typically when we see these waves come off of Africa, those are the ones that can be very long-lived and stronger storms. And an additional conditions that are favorable is we're still seeing warmer than normal sea surface temperatures in the tropical Atlantic. So basically what the forecast is going to have to do, will El Nino offset the favorable warm temperatures and that above normal West African monsoon? We'll see. It's certainly not evenly weighted, and when we revisit this season, we'll see which one of those factors ended up being the more dominant factors. Looking at let's looking at the names for this upcoming year, so you can save this to reference and pass that along to your constituents. Our first storm being Arlene, and I'm trying to see if there's any additional familiar names. Emily's certainly a familiar name. Yep. So yeah, you have those for your future. We want to look those up. So as we look into the week 2, we look at the 8 to 14 temperature day outlook, and you're seeing that it's looks like we're going to continue to see a decent chance of below normal temperatures for 2 weeks from now. So we'll check that out. And for the 8 to 14 precipitation outlook, it's looking probably equal chances or average. So we'll see how that fares out. And right now, our average temperature is basically in the low to mid 80s. And when you go to our final graphic here, you can see this is the Raleigh area forecast over the next several days. You can see there's only really a day or two where we're close to near normal, and that's Friday and Saturday. Saturday looks like to be our warmest day. Otherwise, we're in the 70s. So again, this continuation of northeasterly low-level flow, which this would be like 2 consecutive weeks of this northeasterly low-level flow, which is pretty rare for this part of the country. To have that extended period of that, it's going to keep our temperatures below normal. We'll have a very small chance daily of some very light precipitation, mostly in the form of showers. We'll look at a backdoor cold front on Saturday that could bring us our best chance for rain over the next several days. And then behind that backdoor cold front, we will cool back down. So yeah, a pretty favorable forecast, especially if you're not a fan of the warm temperatures.